Everybody, please be seated. Could you just be seated? Thank you. 4, 6, 9. Is everyone here, please?
I'm here.
We have oh, thank you, Charlie. Who was there? I thought you were missing.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Right.
We do have a new board member.
Yes, we do. A new board member, a member of our illustrious board. Thank you so much, Wendy. I was wondering if you might introduce Samantha.
Sam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, it's Sam Wiggins. Hi, I am, it's Wiggins with an S. And I'm excited to be here. And I'm really excited to serve on this board, and I hope I can help somehow. I'm a jazz fan, and I'm really a lover of all music, but I do like jazz a lot.
Like who?
Well, I like Fatah Hines and Johnny Costa, Errol Garner.
Piano. How about Skins?
Skins?
Well, Curtis is quite the drummer, you know.
Oh, yes, I know. I did my homework. Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Jones. I'm honored to be in...
Blakey or Rich? Which?
Buddy Rich?
That's what I'm saying.
Blakely, for sure. Art Blakely, yeah.
Good. Dig it. I approve.
Yes. However, Sam, maybe you could give us a little bit about your experience and your
My
background.
background? Sure. I'm the founder and CEO of a growing, a pretty good-sized social media company. Maybe you've heard about us. We're called Fat Chat. We do blogs, core content, disruptive marketing, SEO, PPC. Maybe we could even start a jazz blog.
What?
A jazz blog. It's an online forum. Do you ever use Google?
Oh, you mean like a bebop blog? Diggity do. I get it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Wonderful. That's the spirit. Well, yes, let's get to the minutes from the last meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
I so move.
A second?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't get any minutes.
I think that's Curtis's area. Did you get my email?
Maybe.
Oh,
I'll get you a copy.
okay. So let's just table the minutes for now. All right. Our financial report. Bob, let's do the financial report, and then I know Wendy has a few things, really some great new ideas that she wants to present. So, Bob, everyone, is this okay? I mean, Bob, if you're ready.
Okay. Well, as you know, it's been a slow few months since, well, we sure had a lot of snow. Right? I mean, so in terms of admissions, we're down. We're down to around 30% of last year for this period, which, you know, doesn't help with the gift shop and...
We're off 70%.
Yes, 70. Yeah. We are doing 30% of last year. So, Wendy, you stated in the minutes that school tours were down. Did you want to comment?
Yes, I do want to address that, but why don't you finish what you were saying?
Those poor little children in the snow, those poor teachers. Oh.
Well, it's more than just the snow. Let's let Bob finish his report then.
Yeah, thanks. If you look at your spreadsheets in front of you, you know, I've highlighted the value and percent for each item that goes to operating. So first quarter this year compared to first quarter last year at this time, admissions, just 30%. Sales, 25%. Group admissions and or schools, 32%. And I don't think that can be blamed on weather. As you know, although admissions are down just about 10% of our overall income, it's a direct barometer for our foundations in seeing that we are serving the community. So it's not a pretty picture, and we are way off of last year, which we were way off of the original projections from the year before. So
What's new? La. What's new? Probably boring.
Doug, please, come on.
No. So what's new? Here we go again. Why are we comparing a bad budget with a prior bad budget? We've been doing this for years.
we set our budget every year.
And every year I tell you, you're not going to get there.
Look, every year you agree that you're going to make up the difference through development. So, right? I mean, how are you doing? You all agreed.
So where are we with fundraising?
I don't know. You tell me. You're on the committee.
Well, I've got my commitments. but I can't keep covering other losses. It's gotta stop.
I'd like to address this in another way.
Yeah, let's move on. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah, is it all right?
Hey, I just want to say one thing, okay? Okay? I want to say this. Hear me. It's about the music. Dig it? The music. Ain't no business without the music.
It ain't no jazz museum without the business either there, Curtis. It is about the business. It's about the money. We need money.
Money, 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 money. That's not why I joined this board.
Why did you join this board?
Wait, why did you join this board?
I'm a jazz fan. Only thing you're a fan of is commissions.
Hey, you can get your insurance from anybody else, anytime. What about your software fees?
And why shouldn't the center pay for those?
You're a cheat.
Music. Music, man. It's about the music.
Stop!
Welcome. Welcome to the March 23rd board meeting of the new Jazz Center. Founded some 20 years ago to celebrate the city's wonderful jazz heritage and to help move it on to the next generation. Well, are we having fun? We always have fun. I'm Charlie Moore. For 15 of the past 20 years, I've had the distinct honor and dubious privilege of serving as chairman of this board. And thanks to our new executive director, Mrs. Wendy Williams, she was able to talk to our cherished Miss Marilyn McMartin to serve as our new chair. Marilyn's been a community volunteer and docent since the first week our exhibits opened. She lives somewhere nearby with her cat, Bo, apparently short for Mr. Bojangles. She teaches piano lessons, and in earlier years, I'm told she could tap up a storm. God bless her. She does not know how to run a board. Now, Bob Finger here is our treasurer. He has been for 10 or more years, I don't know. He grew up listening to his dad's record collection, all jazz, and he donated them after his dad died. Donated to us. His dad died tragically one night in his pajamas at the very unreasonable age of 91. And the records are how he found out about the new Jazz Center when he was trying to get rid of all those records. I don't know if irony is the right word, but Bob is a financial planner, which is to say this is maybe why our annual budget hasn't changed since 2003. Bob is wholly committed to doing the books, but it kind of stops there. Rather than taking a charitable donation, he charges the new Jazz Center for office supplies and for software, which he needs to do the budgets. Now, Doug Jacobs here has been on the board longer than I. He sells insurance, or used to. The day he first heard about the new Jazz Center opening, he parachuted down to cover everything, from our workman's comp to our D&O insurance. It's kind of an odd duck. He gets lots of his former clients, and he hits them up for tickets and sponsorships, but they never seem to show up for events. Whatever. At least his checks don't bounce. Then, of course, there's the famous Curtis Diggity Jones, for whom nothing is more important than the music. No, it's not just being honest. There is one thing that is more important to Curtis than the music. That's Curtis. Now, you've just met our newest board member, Sam, and we're going to hear from our executive director extraordinaire, Wendy. Now, she comes from a museum background and loves to do events, but I'm impressed. In fact, I only stepped down from being the chair when I knew she'd be running the day-to-day. She's just finishing up presenting a new idea to help the center grow more sustainably, healthfully, progressively. All right, I'm going to let her talk. But I just wanted to make sure you all were having fun. Because, believe me, we're going to have some fun at the old board meeting tonight.
It's not about the space. It's about the room. That's what I'm trying to say. We have plenty of space, in my opinion, but no room. Schools don't book buses with less than 50 seats. Moms don't drive field trips with kids full in the station wagons anymore. Those days are over. We have to accept and fully expect that when a school commits to us that we have a minimum of 50 kids marching through here en masse. That's 50 jackets, 50 knit hats, 100 muddy boots, 500 goopy fingerprints on each and every glass display case. We can't handle that. We have no room for that. Teachers freak out. Something's going to break or crash or smash. They need to be rethought. We need to change the exhibits principally to become more digital in presentation, but more facile in interpretation. Look, if we could just change out the glass cases to digital displays, we can A, become far more relatable to kids and their iPhones, and B, save a lot of room. If we save room, not only can we get 100 to 200 kids in there, we can rent out the space for charity events, galas, reunions, fundraisers. That is a lot of revenue, a lot of income for us that can go to the cost of changing our displays and making exhibits digital.
But we don't have any money for that.
Should we have money for that? We should have money for that. Of course, we don't have money for that.
No, we don't.
Of course we don't. We need to address this opportunity.
Oh, I like that word.
You know, I've said for a long time, the opportunity is right next door.
I understand, Doug. Look, I get it. I really do. I've talked to Mr. Futilli dozens of times. I actually think we've become friends. But the conversation has become a broken record. He is a family. He does not want to sell the restaurant. And even if he did, we could never turn a profit on the liquor license. That's his nest egg. It's a minimum $200,000 easy. And if you all want to operate a jazz club next door, we're talking nightly entertainment, running a full-time restaurant, 7 days a week, lunch, dinner, late night bar food, weekend brunches with all you can drink Bloody Marys. That is not our mission. Believe me, I'd love to have that space, but room is what we need, not space. We're in the business of education.
Music.
Music, education.
A better idea. Make it live. Jazz ain't just a bunch of photos and instruments. It's live. Dig? What you want those kids looking at more screens for?
It's not just TV, it's audio too. Think how many more jazz classics kids could listen to if they heard more than a choice of pushing 5 buttons. Hey, we're analog. And that's all we offer. The same 5 Mary Lou Williams clips, Paul Chambers, 5 snippets, not even whole tunes, Roy Eldridge, 5 solos. You don't even know who he's playing with. Think digital. Now kids can hear Roy Eldridge blasting with Art Blakey in a session with Billy Eckstine, orchestrated. And I just thought that up. But you get my point. It's time to go digital or go home.
Well, it just sounds like, I mean, I like the opportunity. But boy, it sounds like a lot of work.
Again, we don't have any money for that, Doug.
Hey, maybe 5 buttons is enough. It's not like these kids have any idea who Billy Eckstine is anyway.
One cool cat. I toured with the man.
Yeah, we've heard.
Yeah, and the train broke down in Trenton.
He was a cool cat.
Marilyn, if you'll excuse me, do we want to talk about some ways that maybe we could explore Wendy's ideas?
What, like hire consultants?
Well, not necessarily.
You mean like setting up a committee? I'm afraid I don't know anything about digital TVs. I don't even have cable.
No, I was thinking that maybe we could empower Wendy to do some research, or bring in someone who could help better understand these
There's
things.
nothing in the budget for that, Charlie.
I understand there's no money, but I think this idea has some merits that maybe we should consider.
So we should vote
On what?
on whether Charlie can set up yet another committee to do what he wants to do?
Well, that's not what I said.
No, what he meant is to raise more money. But we're already in the crapper because of the snow, and we got to do something anyhow. So let's just raise another $1 million, and while we're at it, we'll raise an extra $200,000 for our liquor license and another $200,000 for a consultant to tell us that we can't afford to run a restaurant, let alone buy a bunch of digital displays, because no one knows who Billy Eckstine was anyhow.
Ain't no one said you had to raise all the money.
Hey, I'm done raising money.
What do you mean? What are you saying?
Oh, wait, gentlemen.
I'm done. I thought maybe when you step down, I could run. I could commit more of my time to, look, you don't know how hard it is to keep asking the same people over and over again for the same donation every year. They don't even like jazz. And I gotta buy their tickets. I hate ballet. I hate cats and stray dogs. I'm gonna So when is our big fundraiser this year anyhow? Anybody?
I guess that's something else we need to discuss.
So, what did I tell you? At least when I ran this board, I had a calendar. Well, maybe sometimes I had an agenda. But the problem is, it seems like there are a lot of agendas here tonight, and they pop up like crocodiles in the swamp every meeting. But believe me, I have scars to prove it. Now, the thing is, leadership works best when there are willing followers. A couple of years back, we had the chance of winning a $25,000 grant. All we had to do was come up with a really creative idea. Of course, everyone had their own creative idea, so we put them all up on the wall. We then gave every board member 2 green sticky dots and 1 red dot to place on the ideas as they thought best. Green dots meant yes, red dots meant, well, maybe not my favorite idea. I made the huge mistake of overselling my idea, which pissed off Doug, who then seemingly threatened everyone else who even discussed it. So at final count, the wall looked like a landscape of Christmas trees, and then the egos got bruised and tempers flared, and progress in my mind can only be found in shared compassion and shared risk. Problem is, this board doesn't like to share anything. So let's jump ahead to the next board meeting. It's now May, and Wendy is wrapping up her new vision for the Jazz Center. Let's see progress in action, shall we?
So it's not about the space, it's about the room. I've said this before. Now you can argue that my revenue projections are too high or too low. You can argue that my cost to convert to digital might be off, but you cannot argue that things should stay the same. I truly worry for this organization if we don't change things now. Thank you.
That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so very much, Wendy. But I do have to say, it seems like a lot of work.
It is. It will be, but worth it.
So, we're gonna do this again?
1.3 million and counting. And we don't have 1,000 to spend.
Every year we scramble. We've got to pull in an extra 35,000. 24 from the gala, 8 from the tourism board, 6 from the foundations, and now we have to pull in an extra $1.3 million?
No. This is completely separate. Yes, we have to do something extraordinary with the gala, if that's what we intend to do. But the 1.3 is a separate beast. I mean, I think we have a very good reason to go to the foundations and a few big donors for Wendy's ideas. But we do need to do something different to raise the shortfall this year.
Charlie, shortfall? 68 grand is no shortfall. It's a black hole.
Our best gala never did better than 20K. And Dad, we had Slide on stage.
Yeah, and what were the tickets? 100 each? I had to buy 6 of them. Slide wasn't worth any $600.
We nearly sold out.
Oh, you paid for them.
Man, we could have had Carmen and Dakota too, but y'all said no to that. Could have sold out at 500 a head, man.
Wait a minute. You mean you could have had Torrentine and Sullivan?
Damn right. They said my sister's sisters.
So we are doing a gala.
I still don't understand how we had to pay Slide 15 grand. What kind of friend is that?
Hey man, it's what he gets. He ain't no amateur.
So that's why we had to stock the green room with shivas?
Hey, if we're voting on doing another gala, I vote no.
You don't get it, man.
No, Slide's backstage drinking free shivas, and I'm to buy a drink for $15 out front.
Stop the whining, will you? It's not like you had to buy drinks for all your good friends that didn't show up.
Hey, don't get personal.
Wait, so excuse me, are you saying that we could have gotten Carmen Torrentine and Dakota Sullivan together to do a show for us?
Well, hell yeah. And Slide too.
Yeah, right. So now we need a 5,000 seat auditorium, a ticketing system, security, sound equipment, insurance riders. We could barely sell 500 tickets for Slide.
Oh, it is a lot of work.
We discussed this. A bigger auditorium will cost a fortune. We can't afford to produce a show that size or sell 5,000 tickets.
So let's discuss a different model.
Yes,
Why don't we-
maybe we could come up with something totally new.
Yeah, like not having a gala at all.
Hey, there's an idea. We could have a non-gala. We'll get everyone to buy a ticket to stay home so they don't have to dress up and come in for $15 drinks.
That's some of the dumbest shit I ever done heard.
I'm only partly serious.
Yeah, yes you are. That's perfect for you.
Hey, screw you.
Are you gonna buy tickets for your
You're gonna charge the
non-friends?
center for another personal laptop?
Screw you, I did not.
Hey, guys, sit down. Decorum. Decorum.
Stop, please. Please.
Talk about board engagement. This one is engaged in self-destruction. Everybody sit down. There's clearly a lesson to learn here. Terms and rotation may be a good thing for any board to consider often. But you might have heard, if you hear anything after that, there were some shrill sounds worth noting. There was squeaking, not unlike a rusty door, of doors that hadn't been opened for a long time, doors that might reveal some hope. A good board member opens doors, and a functioning board will look inside to discover the best opportunities behind those doors. So we're going to jump ahead to another board meeting a few months down the road. But before we do, I have to tell you that I will have retired. So a lot of changes to come. Not because of crocodiles in the swamp, but you'll see, and you'll hear why others like me have left in due time. Marilyn McWilliams will serve her final year as a board member and docent in 2018, when, after one autumn weekend when her neighbors no longer heard her tinkling the ivories, she was found to have suffered a stroke. She and her cat now live in an assisted care facility somewhere out in the burbs. God bless her. She at least knew when to pull the stops. All right, Bob Fringer. He'll say goodbye a year later. He and his wife will have donated their vintage Victrola to the organization. They pack up their belongings, they will hand their kids the house keys, and they're off to Florida. His lawyer will have sent notice that a charitable remainder trust will be left for us and a nice chunk when he dies. Curtis Jones will find himself on stage again. This man keeps beating his own drum. He will send the center a digital compilation of every recording he ever made, and some of them with some pretty serious dudes, too. He might have thought he was one cool cat, but you know, he was, and is. As for Doug Jacobs, he'll go AWOL even before I retire. No one knows where. Sadly, no one knows who to call to find him. The board really needs to thank him for his service. Wendy will get the museum to go completely digital. And for reasons other than the party rentals and packed school buses, the center is going to thrive on its own. Samantha Wiggins, you will now see, is no longer our newest board member. So we're going to jump ahead another couple of months to hear about the gala that never, well, you'll see.
Okay. Everybody, take your seats now. Please take your seats. Thank you. We have a quorum. Who's missing?
Charlie, of course.
Oh, right. That's right. Oh, what a wonderful party that was.
But should we introduce?
Oh, yes, let's. Is she here?
I asked her to wait outside because I thought protocol would suggest that we should vote first.
Well, that's right. Can we vote?
I so move.
Second.
Are there any discussion?
I would so move that our newest board member be voted in unanimously as a motion of the whole without prejudice. Agreed?
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, then let's ask her in.
If you haven't met yet, please allow me to introduce Roz Futilli, our good neighbor and newest board member.
Thank you all. I am so honored to be here, really, really. I know my father may have said otherwise, but Mom and I really know that if it wasn't for the center here, our restaurant would have closed years ago. And now that we've built the jazz stage, you know how committed the Futilli family is to your success. So thank you.
And vice versa. Thank you so much for your support.
No, thank you. And before I forget, you're all invited to the restaurant for some meatballs and penne after the meeting. A Mr. Jakis, a former board member.
Doug?
Well, he called Dad with a credit card, and he said he'd cover everything, and I think that means drinks too. So hey,
I'm there. Dig it. I'm there.
How
there.
lovely. So, let's just get right to our agenda for the evening. The first is to accept the minutes of the last meeting. Roz, did you get a copy?
I actually did. Thank you very much.
Oh, excellent. Any corrections or comments? If I hear none, do I have a motion to?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Accepted. So, please let the record reflect that the minutes have been accepted as presented. Thank you, Curtis. And that the financial report contained therein was an estimation of the actual report you have in front of you, which Bob will now highlight if there are no specific questions. Bob?
Oh, thank you. So just take a look at the spreadsheets that I put in front of you. So as we guessed, and now know from PayPal fees still rolling in, our non-gala spectacular streaming event has more than covered our shortfall for the year. That's great news. In addition to which, we can safely project a first-year commitment to the digital fund in the sum of in excess of $125,000. And as you all know, the income stream from the non-gala will ride through the end of the year. So I know Wendy wants to recap the non-gala, but personally, I'd like to shout out a few thank yous. First, to Sam for figuring out how to stream the telecast live from Sliding Carmen's living room to our donors in the jazz world at large. Thanks. I know you said it's been done before, but well, that was historic. Second, I got to thank my man Curtis for asking Slide and Carmen and Miss Sullivan to do the gig and to allow us to use the rights to resell the broadcast until the DVD is produced in the spring. Finally, I need to state for the record my acknowledgement and gratitude to Doug Jakis for suggesting the idea in the first place, who said we needed to rent an entire auditorium when our artists would rather perform in their own home.
And our guests get to watch from his own home as too.
It was just wonderful. It was truly wonderful.
I'd like to note a few other benefits and offer my thanks too. The non-gala cleared $30,000 before we even went live. No theater rental, no security guards, no transportation costs, no ticketing agent. And I'm pleased to report that the video crew that went into Slide's home were $5,000 under budget. Sam's agency reports that we had 170,000 hits on the site with more than 60% clicking through to our secondary pages. 13,241 people, viewing devices, watched the non-gala in real time, and another 6,267 devices viewed it within the first 24 hours. Staggering. It's just completely staggering to me. And the best part, I think, is that the new Jazz Center is now a known and loved presence on the web. And our name and URL and info and message will be in every download purchase in perpetuity. We're going digital in a way that I never considered. Thank you all so much.
And I just want to add one personal observation, if I may. I came to this board not quite a year ago, and I clearly had no idea what I was getting myself into. And although I have loved music
And jazz.
and jazz all of my life, I never experienced the compassion and true expression of, well, not just musicians, but people like you all, working together in trust, with faith and in harmony. I know that that's what jazz truly is. And I learned that not from musicians, but from each of you. So I must thank you, and I'm really pleased to be on this board.
Dig it. I dig that, man. I just got to add one thing. One thing.
It's the music.
No. One thing, Ms. McWilliams.
Oh, it's the music.
No. It's one thing. I gotta thank you, Ms. McWilliams, for picking up that horn and getting everybody to shut the diggity up.
Well, thank you, Curtis. That was easy.